Hi there, it's Melissa here, and I'm so happy to be back again with you at the Scrappery. Today I'm using my Willow kit, and I'm also using a cut file from Paper Issues called Floral Heart. Now, I have to say, please excuse my voice, I've got a cold. It's all in my nose and my face, nasal cavities, sinuses, and so I feel like I'm just really blocked up and stuffy and nasally. So if I sound weird, that's why. So the Willow kit features the Good Vibes collection by Create Paper, and what I'm doing here is I'm wanting to find 3 papers to back my heart with. So I'm wanting patterns that aren't too full on, preferably smaller patterns or repeating patterns, so that it's a leaf pattern is perfect, and so is that pink one that you just saw, and also the B side, or the A side actually, of this paper, and the other piece, which I will show you soon. So I'm just, I use my pen to trace the area that I want, and then I cut smaller than what I've traced, and that enables me to get the right shape and size for the cut file. Now, it's not perfect. I did have to do a bit of trimming before I glued it, and then I think once I glue it, I have to trim out a bit more, just around the edges. So just using my liquid adhesive, and then I put a piece of scrap paper just underneath, because I don't have a fine line bottle, so that any excess will go onto there and not mess up my the paper I have on my table. So I decided to back all the flowers and just leave the leaves. I did think about using some of the green paper to back the leaves, but in the end I just left them because they're perfectly fine. So there are the 3 colours that I selected, or 3 patterns that I selected. 1 yellow, 2 pink, and here I have my photo, which is another photo. It's another school photo. My last layout was a school layout, but this is from this year. So this is Azaria, who is 8, and so she's in year 4, which is a middler here in New Zealand. So I just wanted to document that. Now, I could have called it First Day 2017, but I just didn't want to do that because that's too easy. So I thought I'd call it year 4 because that's what she is. So just working out where I want to place my photo. I knew I wanted to use another one of these frames because I have several left over, and so it took me a while to decide which one to use. I think I probably even cut out some of this, and then I also looked at using the well, one of those sides is not the A side of the frame, but you could use either side. In my first video I used the wrong side, but it doesn't matter, it looks perfectly fine. That's what I'm trying to say. So here I'm showing you how I just get my photo to the size that I want. I just cut with my scissors where I want to trim, and then line it up on my little trimmer and trim it out. And you do want to get your photo cut to fit the frame so that you don't have any overhang. So I just used double-sided tape for this rather than liquid adhesive. I think it was easier and cleaner. So just removing the backing and then putting my photo into the frame. So I did think about glitter, but the glitter one I had left was pink in that size, so I've just gone with the teal one. And here I've pulled out 3 Kaisercraft mists that I think are going to work well. I could have used Colour Shine, but I wanted to use past Kaisercraft mist that have come in these kits, in the colour kit, because I wanted to show you that you can keep your colour kit products and use them in other projects such as this. So I've just done lots of splattering, and I think the last one I add is more like a silver, not more like a silver, it is a silver, and I decided to stay away from gold on this layout. So I'm just using a paper towel there to dab up some of the excess. I wanted to use that Love You Tons, but I didn't want that to be my title, and I quite like the way it looks tucked on the side there. So I've pulled out some of the ephemera items, and I'm just going through them, working out what I want to use. I love that little paint swatches in 3 shades of pink. I looked at using those like fabric stickers, but I couldn't make any of the icons work with this layout. And I've pulled the gems out as well. So I had taken the sequins out of one of those pretty little pieces, and within this packet there were some like pearl kind of grey circular kind of shapes. I'm not sure what they're called, but there was a good number of them. Well, there was enough to be able to fill in the inside of the flower. Now this flower on the cut file, it has little round circles. If you would have seen it on the cut, if I'd showed you the cut file at the beginning, I can't remember, but if I showed you my mat, you would have seen it on there. And I did think about using them, but they were so tiny, it would have been really fiddly and hard. So I thought maybe I could add some texture by adding the pearls, the grey pearls. I've added sequins, I think silver sequins on the yellow flower, and then there was this large silver glittery kind of, I don't know what you call it, embellishment. And so I'm loving how that looks. Now I then realised that I had backed part of the cut file wasn't actually petals, it was the piece in between. So I could have left it, but I'm a perfectionist when it comes to things like that, and so I had to use my X-Acto knife and just remove that piece. So now my excuse me, background paper is dry, so I'm gluing down my cut file and just wanting to make sure I've got my photo handy. And so I want to have that cut file in that position so that it enables me to place the photo to the bottom right. Now, when it comes to placing the photo, I'm not 100% happy when I look at the final layout. I think it's a little bit unbalanced, but the reason why I did that is because I really wanted the centres of those flowers to feature. So if I wasn't doing that, I would have lifted my photo up a bit more, or maybe I would have gone with a square photo and square frame, but I really wanted as much of her uniform, school uniform, to show, because that's, you know, when you look back at your kids each year, if you're like me and you take photos, you want to look back and see how much they've grown or how older they look. And I think rather than just having a face shot, I definitely wanted to have that uniform in there. So here I'm now, I needed something else to go above the frame. I don't want to overdo the layers. I really want those flowers to shine, but I liked how that tag looked, so I just cut it out of the cut apart. I didn't need to cut the whole tag out because I'm going to tuck it behind. So it's going to give the appearance or illusion that there's a larger tag behind there when really it's just the top. So here I'm going with that paint swatch at this point. I can't remember if I go ahead and use that or not. Actually, I don't think I do. I thought I wanted to use it, but maybe I decided it was too much pink. So this ephemera pack's got tickets and little bits and pieces like that yellow piece which I can tuck under. I'm just keeping in some of the trying out different pieces and seeing what works. So I did like that piece that I've got there, and I like the position. I didn't even want to move it really, so I used some double-sided tape to anchor it, used my liquid adhesive, and then later on I'll take that backing off that double-sided tape so I can actually use it. So I'm using a liquid adhesive to glue that frame down. I just thought it was easier than using double-sided tape. Yeah, I love the pom-poms on these frames, as I'm sure most of you do as well. My nose is getting worse and worse as I narrate this, but that's okay. So I'm just lifting up the top parts of that tag with dimensional adhesive, and now they had this little best ever ticket, which I thought looked really sweet, tucked in there. And that's a sticker, a little flower from the sticker sheet, and I had to use my tweezers to poke out the middle part. I love that stamp, postage stamp. I wanted to not cover it up, so I thought it was perfect just to tuck there, and as you would have seen, I used dimensional adhesive as well to pop it up. These birds in this collection are so lovely, so I've used that sticker one, and once again adding some dimension just to give some movement. I really struggle with layouts that are completely flat. I like to have some movement and dimension, but not too much. I mean, I want them to fit in my albums too. So the other one said Be Bright. I think that little ticket, I tore them apart and I love the way they look authentic. And then it came to my title, which, as I told you, is just going to be Year 4. I thought about putting it at the top there, but it looked, it was too much. I think if I had used smaller thickers, because these are long and thin, or tall and thin, it wouldn't have looked so out of place. So in the end I went with under my photo. It took a bit to get it centered. So sorry, I had to stop and cough then, but I'm back. So yeah, it took a bit to get it centered, but I love that foam thickers or glitter foam thickers are really quite forgiving, and you can move them around a bit if you don't press them down too hard. So my final step is to add my journaling. I used it's like a silvery grey pen, quite subtle, and rather than just do it how I'd normally do it, I decided to go around the edge of the heart, and at this point I can't even remember what I wrote, probably something about her being year 4 and hoping she has an awesome year. Oh, actually I said that some of her friends had gone up to the senior class, but that was okay, and I still hope that she had an awesome year. So my final touch was to add some of these Couture Creations pink glittery gems or sparkly gems, and that is my layout. So I have some close-ups. Hope you enjoyed this process, and I will be back again really soon. Take care.